Hello, this is Affidavit Aloud. I save you time by reading the crime online. I'm still workshopping that, so let me know if you have any suggestions. But you are not here for that. What you are here for is to hear the criminal complaints, the affidavit. This has to do with the worst son and mother bonding that I have seen since Oedipus Rex. With that, let us begin. Affidavit in support of criminal complaint and arrest warrant. I, Carlos D. Fontanez, first duly sworn, hereby depose and state as follows. Preface of Affidavit. Number 1. This affidavit is submitted in support of a criminal complaint against Eric Galvnick Munchel, and Lisa Marie Eisenhart, hereby Eisenhart, with violations of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 2, 231, 371, 1752A, and Title Code 40 of the U.S. Code, Section 5104E. 2. I respectfully submit that this affiant establishes probable cause to believe that Munchel and Eisenhart 1. Knowingly and willfully entered into a conspiracy to violate Title 18 of U.S. Code Section 231A3, Title Code Section 1752A, and Title Code 40 of the U.S. Code, Section 5104E, in violation of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 371. 2. Did attempt to commit any act to obstruct, impede, or interfere with any law enforcement officers. Lawfully engaged in the lawful performance of his official duties incident to and during the commission of a civil disorder which in any way or any degree obstructs, delay, or adversely affects the conduct or performance of any federally protected function. 3. Did or remain in any restricted buildings or grounds without lawful authority, or did knowingly and with intent to impede or disrupt the orderly conduct of government business or official functions, engage in disorderly or disruptive conduct in violation of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 1752A. 4. Did willingly and knowingly engage in disorderly or disruptive conduct at any place in the grounds or on any of the Capitol buildings with the intent to impede, disrupt, or disturb the orderly conduct of a session of Congress or either House of Congress, or the orderly conduct in that building or of any deliberations of either House of Congress in violation of Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 5104E2, and 5. Were aiding and abetting the commission of these offenses against the United States in violation of Title Code 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 2. Number 3. Specifically on or about January 6, 2021, Eisenhart and her son, Eric Munchel, traveled to Washington, D.C. and agreed to enter the U.S. Capitol without lawful authority at the time when a joint session of Congress was certifying the November 2020 presidential election. As Congress was engaged in the official business of certifying the Electoral College vote, Eisenhart and Munchel knowingly and willfully joined a mob of individuals to forcefully enter the U.S. Capitol with intent to cause a civil disturbance designed to impede, disrupt, and disturb the orderly conduct of business by the United States House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. Background of the affiant. Number 4, I have been a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation since 2015. I'm currently assigned to a squad that investigates criminal enterprises and violent gangs for the Washington Field Office. I have training and experience in areas of violent crime, gang-related activity, interview and interrogation, evidence recovery, source recruitment, and digital forensics. I have also testified in federal court on cases involving violent gangs where defendants were charged with violent crimes and aids of racketeering. Number 5. Unless otherwise stated, this information in this affidavit is either personally known to me, has been provided to me by other individual, or is based on a review of various documents, reports, and records. Because this affidavit is submitted for the limited purpose of establishing probable cause to support an application for an arrest warrant, it does not contain every fact known by me or the United States. The dates listed in this affidavit should read as on or about dates. Statement of facts supporting probable cause. Number 6. The U.S. Capitol is secured 24 hours a day by the U.S. Capitol Police. Restrictions around the U.S. Capitol include permanent and temporary barriers and posts manned by the U.S. Capitol Police. Only authorized people with appropriate identification are allowed access inside the U.S. Capitol. On January 6, 2021, the exterior plaza of the U.S. Capitol was also closed to members of the public. Number 7. On January 6, 2021, a joint session of the U.S. Congress convened at the U.S. Capitol, which is located at 1st Street Southeast in Washington, D.C. During the joint session, elected members of the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate were meeting in separate chambers of the U.S. Capitol to certify the vote counts of the Electoral College of the 2020 presidential election, which had taken place on November 3, 2020. The joint session began approximately 1 p.m. Vice President Mike Pence was present and presiding in the Senate chamber. Number 8. With the joint session underway and with Vice President Pence presiding, a large crowd gathered outside the U.S. Capitol. Temporary and permanent barricades surrounded the exterior of the U.S. Capitol building, and the U.S. Capitol Police were present and attempting to keep the crowd away from the Capitol building and the proceedings underway inside. At approximately 2 p.m., certain individuals in the crowd forced their way through, up, and over the barricades and officers of the United States Capitol Police, and the crowd advanced to the interior facade of the building. At such time, the joint session was still underway, and the exterior doors and windows of the U.S. Capitol were locked or otherwise secure. Members of the U.S. Capitol Police attempted to maintain order and keep the crowd from entering the Capitol. However, shortly after 2 p.m., individuals in the crowd forced entry into the U.S. Capitol, including by breaking windows. Shortly thereafter, at approximately 2:20 p.m., members of the United States House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate, including President of the Senate, Vice President Mike Pence, were instructed to, and did, evacuate the chambers. Accordingly, the joint session of the United States Congress was effectively suspended until shortly after 8 p.m. Vice President Pence remained in the U.S. Capitol from the time he was evacuated from the Senate chamber until the session resumed. Number 9. On January 6, 2021, there was national news coverage of the certification process. That coverage and what appears to be video footage captured on cell phones from people near or at the U.S. Capitol depicts persons engaging in criminal conduct by, among other actions, being inside the U.S. Capitol building without authority. Number 10. Photographs and videos of several of the persons were disseminated via social media and other open source online platforms. Those people include a distinctly dressed person inside the Senate chamber wearing dark fatigues that law enforcement authorities have identified as Eric Gavlik Munchel, aka Munchel. Munchel is famous for being the zip tie man. Number 11. In the photos above, the person who appears to be Munchel is wearing or displaying several distinct items, including 1. A baseball cap that appears to have been manufactured by Black Rifle Coffee Company, depicting a rifle, a flag, with the writing on the left side of the cap near the back of the cap. Number 2, a patch on the center of his chest displaying the quote-unquote Punisher comic book character, as well as a Tennessee quote-unquote thin blue line patch depicting the state of Tennessee bisected by a horizontal blue line. And 3, a long-sleeved shorts in fatigue pattern with black rectangles on the upper sleeves. The person who appears to be Munchel is also depicted in these photographs carrying plastic restraints and an item in a holster on his right hip. In my experience, flex cuffs, plastic restraints are used by law enforcement to restrain and or detain subject. And the person who appears to be Munchel further appears to have a cell phone mounted on his chest with the camera facing outward, ostensibly to record events that day. Number 12. On January 10, 2021, a search warrant was executed at Munchel's residence in Nashville, Tennessee. Law enforcement authorities recovered from inside the house several distinct articles of clothing that appeared similar, if not the same, to the clothing worn by Munchel inside the Senate chambers. This included the distinctive black in color Black Rifle Coffee Company hats with American flag and rifle logo, black boots, black camouflage pants and shirt, and a black tactical vest with patches to one of the Punisher logo. Also found inside Munchel's home were 5 pairs of white flex cuffs. Number 13. Also on January 10, 2021, a criminal complaint was filed in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia for Munchel's arrest on offenses committed during the siege on the U.S. Capitol. Law enforcement authorities attempted to execute the arrest warrant at the same time the search warrant was executed. Later that day, law enforcement made contact with Munchel, who ultimately surrendered himself and was taken into custody. Number 14. Subpoena records from the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Washington, D.C. established that Eisenhart rented a hotel room on January 4, 2021, and checked out of the room on January 7, 2021. She provided a Georgia driver's license under the name of Lisa Eisenhart as proof of identification to rent the room. Number 15. Video surveillance from the Grand Hyatt Hotel established that Eisenhart and Munchel were together at the Grand Hyatt and present in the District of Columbia on January 6, 2021, the day of the Capitol siege. The photograph below depicts the pair leaving the hotel at approximately 12:37 p.m. shortly before the joint session of Congress began and a little over an hour before Capitol barricades were breached. Not sure what the typo is there. It further shows Munchel wearing clothing that appears to be the same clothing that he wore when he entered the Senate chamber later that afternoon. Eisenhart is wearing what appears to be a plaid shirt, tactical vest, jeans, and glasses. Just a mother and son. Coffee before insurrection. And we continue on with the document number 16. During the investigation, law enforcement authorities discovered a photograph depicting Eisenhart and Munchel walking together on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol that appears to have been taken before the attack on the Capitol. What a day out with your mother. Number 17. Back to the document. Number 17. Law enforcement authorities also discovered a video showing two individuals who appeared to be Eisenhart and Munchel walking together up a set of stairs inside the U.S. Capitol. Picture shown below. 23,000 views. Back to the document. Number 18. In each of the above description, Eisenhart is wearing clothes that is consistent in the color and style, including a distinctive plaid shirt, tactical vest, blue jeans, and glasses. The two images of Eisenhart taken on Capitol grounds further show her wearing a red hat that is similar in style and color. Number 19. Video footage from inside the U.S. Capitol captured Eisenhart and Munchel in the vicinity of a mob of individuals that were physically attacking two Capitol police guards and guarding entry into the Senate chamber. The footage eventually shows officers run past Eisenhart and Munchel. Several of the mob give chase. Right after they pass, Eisenhart and Munchel immediately follow behind the individuals pursuing the officer. Munchel and Eisenhart are seen holding flex cups in each of their hands during the pursuit. The footage reflects that both officers ultimately made good on their escape to a lower level of the building, as well as Eisenhart then appearing to shout at the officers while leaning over a banister. Number 20. Video footage also captured Munchel and Eisenhart moments later among the individuals inside the Senate chamber, having entered through the very area the officers were guarding before the assault. 21. On January 6, 2021, law enforcement encountered Munchel at the Grand Hyatt Hotel located in Washington, D.C. At the time, Munchel was wearing black camouflage pants and a black holster containing what appeared to be a handgun. Law enforcement interviewed Munchel and identified that he was carrying a black and yellow quote-unquote taser pulse that emits electric shock. Munchel told authorities that he participated in the rally at the U.S. Capitol earlier that day and that he possessed the taser for self-protection. 22. Law enforcement authorities discovered a videotape purportedly recorded on January 6, 2021 inside the Grand Hyatt Hotel of two individuals who appeared to be Eisenhart and Munchel. Below is a screenshot from the video footage. Mother and son. 23. Back to the documents. I have examined a photograph of Eisenhart from law enforcement databases that appears to be the same person depicted in the photo above. Let's just look. There she is. Downfall. 22. Up. I see it. Back to the document. Number 24. During the investigation, law enforcement discovered that Munchel flew on Southwest Airlines from Nashville, Tennessee to Fort Myers, Florida in March 2020, that the flight was booked by a person named Lisa Eisenhart, who had the exact name and date of birth as the individual who rented the above room from the Grand Hyatt. 25. According to a search of law enforcement database, Eisenhart's alias include Lisa Marie Govalek. Munchel's middle name is Govalek. 26. A further search of law enforcement databases revealed that Munchel and Eisenhart have a physical address in Fort Myers, Florida in common, and a post office box address in Blue Ridge, Georgia in common. 27. On January 10, 2021, the Times newspaper published an online article entitled, quote, "Trump militias say they are armed and ready to defend their freedom," unquote. In reference to storming the Capitol, Munchel is quoted in the article stating, "We wanted to show that we were willing to rise up, band together, and fight if necessary, same as our forefathers who established this country in 1776. According to the article, Eisenhart expressed that the two had gone into the U.S. Capitol as quote-unquote observers, but quotes Munchel's characterization of it as, quote, "kind of flexing muscles. The point of getting inside the building is to show them we can and we will," unquote. The article references Eisenhart's talk of violent revolution, as well as her belief that, quote, "this country was founded on revolution. I'd rather die a 57-year-old woman that lived under oppression. I'd rather die and would rather fight," unquote. Conclusion of the affiant. 28. Based on the foregoing, your affiant submits that there is probable cause to believe that Munchel and Eisenhart violated Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 371, by knowingly and willingly conspiring with persons known and unknown to violate Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 231A3 and Section 1752A and Title 40 of the U.S. Code, Section 5104E2, and that they committed each of the foregoing offenses, along with Title 18 of the U.S. Code, Section 2. 29. As such, I respectfully respect that the court issue an arrest warrant for Eisenhart. The statements above are true and accurate to the best of my knowledge and belief. Signed, Special Agent Carlos D. Fontanez, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Attested to by the application in accordance with the requirements of the Federal Crime Act by telephone this 15th day of January 2021, the Honorable Zia M. Barquay, U.S. Magistrate Judge.